Hello, very quickly we are going to see the further precedence of the class. In the last class, we have discussed that how the 13 colonies of US had claimed the complete independence, and it was on 4th of July 1776 that formation of USA or United States of America had happened. Now understand that I was telling you the story that the British imperialists who were already living there, they had sent a lot of migrants, they had sent a lot of criminals, they had sent all those people who were not able to pay the taxes to the northern part of America. And in the southern part of America, we have seen coming up of the slaves. Okay. So both these states of northern part and southern part of America, they combined together under the commander-in-chief George Washington, and it was in Yorktown that these combined militia had defeated Lord Cornwallis, who was representing the British government, and ultimately led to the independence of US. Is it clear? Two major incidents we discussed over here. The first one was Boston Massacre. The second one was Boston Tea Party. Also, we discussed that the major issue over here was so much of burden taxes on the people, right? These people who were staying in USA, they were saying to the British government in Britain that no taxation without representation. When we are not the members in your parliament, then how come you are taxing us? This is totally against the conception of human dignity. Now understand, these people in Northern America, they who had been sent specifically to Northern America, they had already witnessed the Renaissance movement in Europe. They had already witnessed the Enlightenment stage, right? So these people also carried forward the ideas over there, and North America specifically was developed on the conception of liberty and individualism, because people from lot of cultures were coming together. Now understand that why the US Constitution is known as the Enlightenment document. Okay, the first thinker we discuss here is John Locke. Now, John Locke says that humans are born with certain natural rights. Okay, all these you can even quote in your essays. Okay, they give a lot of good marks because this is again talking about human dignity. This is again talking about justice, right? And the essay these days are coming lot of on a philosophical angle. So these thinkers and the examples and the ethical leaders are totally going to support this. So a government power, they say, it comes from the consent of the people. Now this word consent is important. It is the consent. We the people decide to give power to the government, and this establishes the legitimacy. Is it clear? Now, it also creates a representative government. Apart from this, it limits the government's power. Now, understand, this word is said as constitutionalism. This is that there is no absolute supreme power in the government. The power is given by the people because we choose you, right? And as you know, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, it was Montesquieu who had discussed about the separation of powers. Okay, in Indian constitution, where do you see this conception of separation of power? In Article 51, in Article 50 of Directive Principles of State Policy. Is it clear? So he had said that all the three organs of the government, they must be totally separated. The division of power must be among the three branches: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. It also talked about the federal system of government. Now understand that 2 minutes I'll just take you away from the topic. The federalism in USA has been indestructible union of indestructible states. Okay, but in India, what is Indian federalism? The context of Indian federalism is that it is indestructible union of, but you can say over here that it is destructible states, right? This is not in US. Also, there is a system of check and balance, which is, you can say, the conception of judicial review. It started in US in 1801. Is it clear? Apart from this, it was Rousseau who discusses about the complete conception of democracy, where public elections of the president and the Congress should take place. Now, another one, also you can write one more thing, that it was Rousseau who gave the conception, further enhancement to the conception of social contract theory between the state and the individual. Voltaire, he says that with great power comes great responsibility. He also says that I will not defy what you say, because you have the right to speak, but that right should be restricted, right? Now notice that in Indian constitution, the conception of free speech has been given in Article 19, right, with some restrictions. Also, he talks about religious toleration. Now, this is prevalent in the secularism concept, right? And if you see, it is in Article 29 and 30 of the Indian Constitution. Is it clear? Now, I think this is it. Now, let's very quickly see what was the context of American Civil War. For this, you have to follow this diagram. Okay. So, this is your North America. Okay. Now, in the northern part of North America, we see that the people over here were working in shipbuilding. Okay, the activity which was pursued was shipbuilding, or they were working in the timber activity, right? Now, all this led to industrialization, right? Also, over here we see that the economy was pretty urban, and we see emergence of towns. Is it clear? These were the immigrants who were brought. But in the southern part of America, we notice over here that planters were working. right? Tobacco planters, sugar planters, right? And these planters, they were the slave, or you can say there was prevalence of slave economy or the rural agricultural economy. Is it clear? And these planters were mostly brought from the slave or the Gold Coast of Africa. Now, what happened that between these two parts of USA, they started the debate that southern states, okay, they wanted the slavery to persist, okay, but the northern state, they were against the conception of slavery. Now let's see over here that by 19th century, many new areas were added to United States, and understand the original people who were staying here, they had shifted completely to the western part of US, and these were known as the real aboriginals or the red Indians. Okay, so what happened that by this time people had totally continued to move to the west, and the extension of boundary was towards the Pacific Ocean. Now what happens? Although there was a westward expansion, but it was at the cost, it was at the expense of American Indians, or you can say the originals, who were driven out of their territories. And in course of few decades, in fact, the population of these original people of US had totally reduced. Okay, now whatever increasing settlements that were happening in the West, it brought the conflict between the northern state we just discussed and the southern state. Over here, it's mentioned that southern states, they wanted to extend this slavery to the west. And the northern state, they totally objected this conception of slave economy. You can very easily understand the people who are coming and settling up in the northern part, they were those who were not able to pay the taxes, the lower strata class in the Britain, right? But those people had already witnessed Renaissance, they had already witnessed the Enlightenment period, right? So they had been influenced by the philosophical foundations, and we had also studied that Italy was the cultural hub, right? Now, understand that the slave economy, definitely it comes from Africa. They are merely thinking about expansion of agriculture. An expansion of agriculture, clear, you need lot of slavery, you need a lot of manpower. So they wanted to sustain that. So this was a bone of contention between the north and the south. Okay, north industrializing, we have seen shipbuilding, towns and cities growing. We have seen immigrant wage laborer. We have seen the free soil ethos. Now we will see one thing over here also, that they supported the conception of individualism and human liberty. The southern states over here, they just focused on the plantation economy of cotton, tobacco and rice. So they relied on these enslaved labor, and that is the reason they supported it as essential. Now, a change of revolutionary significance came with this whole civil war, when the southern states, they totally wanted to get separate from the United States of America. So they seceded. Okay, you will study this in your GS1 mains paper. This means the conception of regionalism, and it is equivalent to son of soil. Okay, son of soil theory. So what happened that the Civil War from 1861 to 1865 happened, and it ended finally in the defeat of the southern states. I hope the concept is